you can probably tell that what I'm advocating here is understanding a few key niches that you know you can do some serious damage in, and then developing messages that speak directly to those people, all right? Our friend Alan Minster here, I don't know how many of you know Alan, but Alan can probably say it better than me, but I know that Alan has a ton of clients in the banking industry, and that he specializes in helping those banks develop new business through his systems. And why do I know that? Because he talks about it. You know, it's in his marketing materials. It's probably not the only type of business that he can work for, and he's probably got a few niches that he does. But because his marketing is so specific, I know that if I'm talking to a banker and they're talking about this kind of thing, well, I know a guy that helps with that, you know? And that's what I'm talking about here. So I want to walk you through an example of how we've done this in my business. So CPA firms is one of the industries that we identified, that we want more clients that are accounting firms. They're a good fit for us. So what you see here on the screen is our standard services page on our website, okay, that speaks to anybody that might be interested in our services. It's not industry specific, all right? But behind the scenes, we have campaigns running where we're pushing certain types of people to different landing pages that are specific to their industry and talk directly to them. So this is a program that we rolled out, and I'm going to show you how we rolled it out and how we targeted these people for CPA firms, all right? And we did it both offline and online using a few different things, all right? And now this specific approach isn't going to be the right fit for everybody, of course not. And we can't talk about all the different, you know, the litany of possibilities that you can use for marketing your business and targeting these people. But I just hope you get a sense for the power of this. And really what we're talking about is designing a specific campaign that essentially runs behind the scenes to target these niches, these industries, these ideal customers that you've already identified. Okay, so how do we do it offline? Well, to go back to Mike's question, we built relationships and joint venture partnerships with people who are already serving this audience. So for CPA firms, there's plenty of industry associations out there, plenty of conferences out there, like this one, the Renegade CPA Practitioner Workshop, which is put on by a guy who offers marketing programs for CPAs. He doesn't offer what we offer to them, which is LinkedIn marketing services, all right, and lead generation within LinkedIn, so it was a natural fit. We talked to him, worked out a deal, and that's me speaking at that conference in New Orleans and speaking specifically about how CPA firms can generate leads using LinkedIn, all right? And if the people in this room, as far as they know, that's all my company does, you know? Because that's all I'm talking about, and all the materials and the messaging I'm delivering to them are that specific and focused on their industry, and it just speaks directly to them. And when you do that, and when you stop dumbing down your message to try and attract everybody, the results just go through the roof. All right, doing these kinds of campaigns has been tremendously successful for us. This is one of the niches of a few that we've done this kind of process for over the last 6-7 months or so. All right, so where do you find these people online? So that's an offline strategy that we used. All right, now online, we decided, well, we just did this presentation in New Orleans, and that was really successful. I bet there's a lot of people that we could get to if we turned that into a webinar and did the same presentation but in webinar format. So let's do that. All right, well, how do we get them so that they know about the webinar and get these CPA firms' attention so that they will attend our webinar? Well, we decided to do two things, Facebook advertising, and we hammered LinkedIn. And within Facebook, this is a screenshot of our campaign where we spent $800 running ads to target CPAs. If you're not using Facebook advertising to grow your business right now, I mean, I think you're probably missing out, because you can target these people in such a granular, specific way. You know, we can target them based on their interests, what they do, what groups they like, all these kinds of stuff. So we spend about 15 minutes digging around on Facebook, finding the different things that we're going to plug in to our campaign to say, show this advertisement about our webinar to these kinds of people, and they serve it up. Everybody here knows how it works, but very few people are actually taking advantage of it. And we're not talking here about using Facebook advertising to sell info products and online training and all that stuff. This is for services, client services that are paying us thousands, tens of thousands of dollars a year. All right? On LinkedIn, it's another way that a lot of us, especially if you're in B2B, should be targeting people. You can find all sorts of interest groups that your prospects are in. All right? LinkedIn groups. All right, I'm not going to go into depth on what that is, but within those groups, if you search for people based on criteria, you can then send them a message, whether you're connected to them or not. All right? So over the course of a couple weeks, we had a virtual assistant sending out lots of messages like these to people that fit the profile, owners of CPA firms that fit the profile in the right kind of groups in the right cities that we were targeting across the United States. So all that stuff just goes back to what we already did when we were identifying who to reach. Then we did the webinar. You can see on this one we had 354 people that registered for it. And we generated that traffic from LinkedIn and Facebook because we said, hey, I think this is where our audience is. We then did the webinar and we closed deals after it using that same form that I showed you earlier that said LinkedIn Accelerator for CPAs. And that's the process that we're using to really speak directly to our prospects. And I think for most of the people in the room, if you're not already doing it, you can do it and should do it. All right? It does take work because I think a lot of people think I'm going to just set up this marketing and set up my website and maybe set up my AdWords and that's going to be done. Okay, I've done that. I'm done with it. Well, this is a process of continuously marketing to new niches and refining your message, promoting your business to a really specific targeted audience. And what happens as a result of this is you become really, really well known within these spaces. All right? We had, as a result of these promotions, we got this message in front of so many people that we end up getting invited to write guest articles in magazines like CPA Practice Advisor. And those features and those little interviews they did with me turn into other opportunities, you know? And if I'm just out there trying to position myself as all things to all people, that stuff doesn't happen, you know? And as a result of this kind of stuff, it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 12, 13 CPA firms that we've brought on as clients in the last 6 months, all right? So let's take some more time right now and thinking about this, whether offline is the best fit for you. What are the places that you need to be? Where are the places you need to be? What are the things you need to be doing offline? Is it going to industry association events? You know? Is it going to Missouri Venture Forum to meet more people like Bill Purnett? Or is it online? Or is it both? You know? I would argue that it's both for most of us. So let's take a little more time. And for the industries that you've written down, or the prospect profiles, which is a better way to put it, for the 3 prospect profiles that you've identified on that page, let's take a little time and go through and start thinking for yourself and writing down ideas about where you can best reach those people and what kind of tactics, offline and online, are going to be best to get your message in front of them. All right? So be thinking about, you know, if it's online, is it a webinar? Maybe, maybe not. Is it a white paper? You know, we've done that successfully with CPA firms. Taking the similar presentation, boil it down into a white paper instead. Some people just want to cruise through a white paper and get to the meat of it and not sit through an hour-long webinar. Maybe that's the case for your prospects, you know. Maybe it's specific content for those industries. Maybe it's writing a blog that's targeted directly at certain types of people. And then not only do you have the ability to share that content with those people and post that content into the places they're hanging out, but you've got a lot of SEO value there as well for any accounting firm that types in LinkedIn marketing for accountants, for example, Google. So, Scott, let's do our thing again. Let's take about 5-10 minutes, and then after that we'll wrap up. So what questions? Peggy, you have a question? thank you for the input. I appreciate it, everybody. And the last thing I just want to leave everybody with, and this should be crystal clear from everything I've been talking about and recommending, is that I don't know any other way to talk about this stuff than just say what's kind of worked in our business and what we've seen work for our clients. So for us, focusing on niches and verticals has opened the doors to growth that I could not have seen coming. And the results from doing this have been awesome. And what's the downside of giving some of this stuff a shot? So think about how can you target these industries behind the scenes, what kind of campaigns can you run to speak as directly as possible to your ideal prospects, and I think you'll see some pretty exceptional results when you do that. So.